Okay.
We'll come.
Takes me a while. Okay, I'm up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we'll have roll call.
Kraska. Torrance.
Here.
Holland. Guston.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Langwell.
Here.
Alley.
Here. Okay, so we have 5 of our members. We're too short. Councilman Holland and Councilman Kroskoff. So we'll go ahead and we'll open it up. Just kind of overview on what we're doing in the budget this year. All of our capital is capital that we have planned for in our 5-year capital outlay. There was some big things that came out, like a bucket truck and I believe a packer in the street department. So those were some bigger one-time items, but like I said, that's within our 5-year plan. We are also taking out some money a rainy day. That was in the 5-year plan to really get the fund. You might have seen some emails about the community crossings grants, because I think you forwarded me one at one point. When the state did the community crossings grant program, they had a lot of requirements, like all grants. And some of the requirements, like the road inventories and a 5-year capital investment plan for your road specifically, you had to have those things done and submitted to LTAP to be able to get the grant. So a lot of communities were kind of scrambling to try to get those things done to get into that program that started last year. And it was a good program. We were too far behind to apply for that grant. So we spent the time, we got the inventory done. A lot of cities, they paid for a company to do a road inventory and to go through and grade all of the different roads for what condition they were in. Our street department did that internally. So even though we were a little bit behind the gun last year, we weren't able to do it then, it saved us money in the long run because our street department then had time to actually go out there and do part of the work that most other communities were having consultants do for a high dollar price. So anyways, all of that is just to say we're really trying to utilize and get the most benefit from that community crossings grant, a 50-50 match grant from NDOT. And so that's why we have some money coming out of the rainy day funds to fully take advantage of that. Other than that, I know the building department, we had an increase in our building department's budget. Every year, you guys might recall, we'll do twice a year, we'll take the money that we get from the courthouse from liens on property that we put for mowing and stuff like that. Those liens per year, we'll do them twice. They'll be somewhere between $20,000 to $30,000 or so dollars that will then appropriate into the building department. We won't be doing that next year. We just increased the budget up front this year. And so then when we get that money in from the courthouse, it'll just go into the general fund and we won't be asking to appropriate that back into the building department's fund like we typically do. So kind of save us some work doing that. But other than that, most of everything else in the budget is kind of what we've laid out throughout the 5-year capital investment plan. All the employees, all the elected officials, we had a 1.5% increase for. There was some money in the police department. We were able to put some more money into the ranked officer positions. There was only, I think it was like a couple $100 between a couple different ranks where officers were taking on a lot more responsibility, and even though taking on the extra responsibility, the difference of a little bit of overtime could still mean that person that you're actually above is taking more home with shift differential and stuff like that. So we have the fire chief's pay up equal to the police chief's too, because that made a discrepancy there. That pretty much sums up most of it. Our insurance numbers, I can pull what our expected increases were in insurance. I think for health insurance, it was like 11% that they expected for an increase. And double check that number. The other insurances weren't nearly as much as that. That was the high one, and that's the big cost in the city that raises the most each year is general health insurance. In the Board of Works budget, we also there was I think it was $25,000 last year we had in capital improvements to put some windows in at City Hall. Spring and fall every year in City Hall, it is miserable for at least 2 weeks because our heating and cooling system is a very large commercial system that has to completely shift over to one versus the other, whether it be heating or cooling. And you guys know Indiana weather, it is never just a clear cut. It shifts from being cold to warm or warm to cold. So there's always at least 2 weeks following spring that is just miserable in the building because we can't open a single window. All the doors automatically shut. We got the shutters on them. We can prop them open, but it doesn't do very much for air circulation, and especially back in the police department where they can't leave doors open, for security reasons. So we spent some money putting some windows in the building that we can actually open up. Peru Screening Glass is putting those windows in now. They put a couple in. We have a couple upstairs, and I think we have a couple in the police department they've already put in. And we still have a couple more to go. But we took that money then that we had this year for those improvements. We also put some in the landscaping. I don't know if you guys noticed, there's some metal flashing along the bottom of the building outside, where before you could see that yellow spray foam that was where the concrete met the brick, and it wasn't looking too good along the edge of the building. But we bought some materials, and our maintenance guy actually formed that flashing and cleaned up the side of the building the way it looked. So we've taken that money now, and we've actually put that in for sidewalks for next year. So we're going to try to do more, be a little more proactive with helping with sidewalks next year. And that's that $35,000 that's in the Board of Works under sidewalks. The money's there, that $35,000. How exactly we're going to get that money out to the sidewalks has not been 100% figured out exactly. So if there's, right now I'm looking at how South Bend does it. Got a brochure and talked to the South Bend mayor about how they do their sidewalk program. But by all means, if council members have any suggestions or input how to get out sidewalk funds to people, I knew that we wanted to do some more of that, and so that money's there. And we have a pretty good general idea how we're going to do it. But like I said, if you guys have any other suggestion, we are open to that. So
That's for homeowners?
yeah, it would be for homeowners. And I know we have a lot of sidewalks downtown too, like the side streets on the downtown that need sidewalks too. So, of course, those are really wide, expensive sidewalks too.
Right.
So I hate to eat up all the money in downtown when we have so much through the residential areas that need it. But like I said, I'm open to suggestion on how we'd like to distribute that. The way that South Bend does it is they'll fill out an application and send it to the city, and then after they send the application in, and the city says, okay, we approve, you got your permits, and you have a qualified contractor, after the work's done, they reimburse them per foot. So I think it's like $25 per foot a sidewalk that people put in, they'll just give the homeowner a check back to reimburse them. I know that one of the problems that we have is a lot of people can't find that money up front to do it. So I don't know if a reimbursement will really get to some of the places I think need it the most. But that's kind of how other cities do it. If we can figure out a way to get it to people that need that money up front, but still protect the city's interest and not be putting out money without seeing the improvements that we want to see, you know, that's kind of the nut to crack when it comes to that.
Is that just a straightaway walk?
Yeah,
I mean,
the way the sidewalks were put in, I believe they're 4 foot wide, and so it would be linear foot on a 4 foot wide path. And that's just for next to the streets, the public access sidewalks. It wouldn't be access up to the house. Yep.
that's,
So did you guys have any specific questions? That's, like I said, kind of a nutshell on some of the things we've changed. Like I said, we had some increase in, small increase in wages. We definitely are spending more money this year, or we're appropriating more money in this year's budget for next year for paving. Overall, we have, I believe it's right at $500,000 that we're appropriating through different funds for paving. And with the community crossings matching grant, that should equate to right about $1 million worth of paving that we can do next year.
Do we have any money left in paving for this year?
We didn't put money in paving for this year other than the crack and, or the sealer and filling in potholes. And that was basically because we had so much road construction going on this year with the utilities, and we didn't want to add to the destruction on the roads and limited mobility through town with all that.
The street up there where the new Dollar General is, past it, they paved part of that when they built the building. We've got half of it now sitting there with a lot of potholes now.
Is it the part that they paved?
Well,
Is it the new part?
Alexander Street?
Abraham
It runs
Lane.
through the
Abraham, yeah, Abraham Lane.
Yeah. It needs help desperately.
Gotcha.
They got a lot of traffic coming in and out of there.
Yeah.
Now you got a motor company up there in that area, right next door. He's got a lot of traffic coming in now.
Yeah, I know when Dollar General went in, they did some paving on that road when they built their new building there. But
Yeah, you got several $1 million in that new building up there,
right.
and I don't know whether the Lima kind of has $1 million in there or not, but they put a lot of money in to put new buildings up, done all that stuff up there.
Yeah.
The city needs to help people to do that somehow.
Right.
I'm just glad we don't chip and seal our city streets.
Right.
What a joke.
Yeah. And I think, and I might be wrong, but I think that when I talked to Bill, and one of our safety officers might know better, that Abraham Lane isn't a street, but maybe it's an alley, or is it actually?
They doubled it just right past, right up to the entrance. So it's one way now, coming off of
Right.
Bobtail. It's going sort of a southeast direction, just that one section. So the new part is two-way with the new, but it's just that little short section that's still a lane. I guess it's a one-way, single.
Right. Yeah.
One section. But the new section from Kunkel's to Broadway is new, that section is. So all the traffic going in Dollar General on Kunkel's is all new pavement right there pretty much.
Gabe, have they use Tyler Street over there a lot to put all their equipment back of Redmond and around like that, stored it in big lots that they had there. No, that Tyler Avenue is completely needs resurface. It's terrible.
That is awful.
It is awful. When you go down there, it is. You can't imagine till you start out on it how bad it gets.
Gotcha.
And it hasn't been blacktop for years. For years it hadn't been blacktop. they get over to it, and then that's it. If that's the last street, that never gets done. You know how that goes.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been talking to Bill and our city attorney about, if you look at a map of the city of Peru, there were 24 is the Heartland Corridor. Above that on Old 31, believe that we are reaching out in that direction. I think at one point we probably are wanting to grab like Hidden Hills and some of the developments out there, Lee Woods, and we do have the addition, the Denham's addition, I can't remember what the name of it is part of the city up there. I know looking at that, to me, to expand the city limits, they changed the laws for annexing. If people don't want to be annexed, it is very difficult to annex. And so we kind of have a chute up there, a square of property that's pretty much undeveloped, but what we do have is Old 31 and a lot of semi-traffic with the new grain silo that they built up near the jail. That section of 31 will cost the city, I think I'll have to double check my numbers, but it was close to it was just under $300,000 to resurface and repair just the section of Old 31 from 24 north. The total property taxes of all the properties that are within the city limits north of there, for all the property taxes which go to every taxing entity, so that'd be the county, the library, township, the city, divided amongst all of those and the schools, total a year, all those properties, if my calculations are right, they're paying $20,000. So if you divide that $20,000 a year up between all those different entities, what portion we're getting of that, I can't say, but I know maybe it's half. I think we'd be lucky to get half of that. And considering that every 10 years, we're going to be spending $300,000 repairing that road, I actually asked the city attorney about de-annexing that portion, because other than the housing addition in that area, it's mostly farmland and woods up there, and we're paying a lot of money to upkeep that road. I don't see it as a good place to be at up there, so it's probably going to be a long process, but I wanted to throw that out there and let you guys know we are looking at that.
That road's really getting pretty bad.
Yeah, it's one of those roads that we'll have to be spending, like I said, $300,000 in the next few years to repair. That's a lot of other in-town roads that we could be repairing.
Days.
Inner
Because,
city, yeah.
yeah,
The days.
I mean, you consider we're doing a major push for repaving next year, and we're going to be spending $500 city money just next year, and that's a big push year, and $300,000 is what it takes just to pave that one section. So,
When you're figuring up which roads to fix, please do not fix ours.
you know, Tish does the same thing. She hates it when we fix roads near her.
I didn't do it.
We like ours the way it is. It slows the traffic down.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Especially in the morning before school starts, and then in the afternoon when school lets out, man, that's a racetrack.
Yeah.
But it slows them down.
So on George or Olive? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to let Bill know.
Well, it took 50 years to get my side street, the May blacked out.
Yeah.
50 years. How I remember that, I bought my daughter a new bicycle, and she still has it hanging up, swing bicycle, and I said, no, you can get on that and ride that, no excuse, brand new road and everything. She was 8 years old, and that's how I remember it done, 50 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's sometimes these articles in the paper, I don't even know where to start on some of them. Haven't got the words yet.
What do we have to do in this meeting
Right.
about the budget.
There's no actions to be taken. This is just time for you guys to, if you have any questions.
Well, I appreciate having it. I have my copy from last year, last year's budget, but Tish made us another one, thank you,
Welcome.
so we can do some comparisons.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, I kept mine, so I had mine. I went all through it. One thing that I couldn't ever, I like for all of our people up there on the 4th floor. I spend a lot of time up there because I have a lot of interest in getting these houses torn down. And I don't know who Brenda works for, Jerry, but I don't know what I couldn't pinpoint what, even in these two, what she was getting now. But I definitely think, I see with your assistant, you jumped it up to $31,680 for your assistant. Now she's an assistant to Jerry. I couldn't see, I think she's deserving of that. And I mean, she works all the time.
Yeah, the 1.5% that all the city employees got, that my assistant got, it's the same that Brenda got and Rebecca. So you have two ladies in the building department, Brenda and Rebecca, and they both got that same raise that my assistant got.
You did raise it,
Yes.
so to what point could she be making now?
She'd be making the same as the mayor's assistant. All three of those ladies make the same.
$31,680. Your mayor's assistant now makes $31,000, will be making $31,680 with the raise. She was making $31,212.
Yep.
Yeah.
I thought they were making the same all along last year.
What's that?
I thought they were making the same
I'm
in 18.
not saying the rest of,
The three,
Yeah, those three are the same
And they're still the
pay
same.
scale. Yeah,
Okay.
they're all the same pay scale.
I'm not saying the rest of them don't work hard up there, because they do, but she doesn't have a minute. She doesn't have a minute to fill, telephone's not ringing for this, ringing for that, complaints and stuff. And, like I say, I'd like to see them all have a good wage scale. They do.
I wish we had more money, we could pay our police and our firemen. They put their lives on the line every stinking day.
yeah, that's what I would like to see.
You look how much they're making, and it's just
Yeah,
kind of sad, but we don't have it.
yeah.
I look back on the phone calls that I made to our previous state senator. Oh, this is going to be good for you. Guess what?
Yeah,
No, it isn't.
Yeah,
yeah.
No, it isn't. We're
Yeah.
struggling.
right.
We shouldn't have to struggle. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But this is.
Now, I will say this about all of our city employees, and this includes me and Tish, we have the best health care that anybody's got. I don't know of a health care plan that's better than what the city provides. And it is frustrating that our pay scale is lower than most cities, but there's not another city that doesn't charge its employees a copay every pay period to pay into their insurance. Our city employees pay nothing as a copay
That's,
out of their paycheck.
says a lot.
We also give $1,500.
$1,000 for single, 15 for spouse, and 2,000 for family once a year.
Right, and we put that money cash into an account, HSA account for our employees too. So we have because we have a high deductible insurance plan. So they go to the doctor or they have a medical emergency. There's a deductible that they have to pay, but we also, like I said, put in a significant amount every year into an HSA to be able to, where they can pay for that. But they could also pay for their Tylenol, their kids' glasses, their anything medical, out of the HSA account too.
That's
So
good.
it is a very, very rich plan. And, you know, I think if we took the money back out of the health care to put us where we are to where most cities are in healthcare and put that into their pay, we'd probably be a little bit more competitive with other cities. But I don't ever want to take away somebody's benefits
Yeah.
and have people do less with benefits either.
We also have
So-
the clinic where they can go free of charge. So if they go to the clinic, that's also a substantial savings. And I know I've been speaking with the clerk treasurer in Logansport. I don't know if you guys have been following Logansport, but they have one heck of a mess over there with their medical insurance. They have police and fire members that are filing bankruptcy because of the medical bills that came in and the medical insurance that they had that was supposed to pay it, didn't pay it. And so, I mean, there literally are lives over there being ruined right now over a failing health insurance system. So to know we have such a good one, in my opinion, is a blessing, because I couldn't imagine what those employees over there having to deal with, the decisions they're having to make. So,
Yeah, and I mean, that's not to say that they don't deserve more pay, absolutely. It's easier to pay your bills, you know, insurance is insurance. There's a limited amount you can do with medical money, but it is one aspect that we actually do shine in
Right.
Peru. Like I said, there's not another city, and I doubt there's very many private sector jobs that have insurance nearly as good as ours, if at
That's
all.
good to hear. 'Cause I'm insurance poor, you know, so I would rather have some good insurance rather than
Right,
a few
yeah.
extra dollars in my pocket.
And you know, and it really depends, employee to employee, how valuable that insurance is to them. Some employees have children or family members who have a lot of health needs, and that health insurance plan that we have is a godsend for them. Other employees might be young, they might be single, and might be thinking, I wish I had some more money in my pocket. So it's definitely not fit for everybody, but for when you need it, it absolutely is a blessing.
I think all of us older people, we had something that we could pass on to the younger folks. Take care of your health.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, yay, Rob, for Medicare, ha, ha, ha.
yeah,
I mean, it's good, it does help us.
Right.
But the deductible alone, my goodness.
if you have pre-existing conditions,
Yeah.
so,
I have a couple of friends that have their own businesses, and they have to provide their own insurance. Deductibles of thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't see how they survive.
I don't either.
My granddaughter and her husband moved back to Arkansas, where he's from. She's a physical therapist, and he's an occupational therapist. And somehow they got in between enrollment time for insurance, and they're paying $1,000 a month with $12,000 deductible.
oh my,
And when they went to enroll for the insurance, they signed them up for Medicaid. And Sandy said, we don't want Medicaid, we're
Yeah.
starting jobs. But it was easier for them to sign them up than, they had a terrible time getting unsigned from Medicaid.
Years ago, I think he worked on the fire department. He had that little baby, they called her the $1 million baby. Brooks, was it Brooks?
Yes.
That they were very careful, the officials, to be sure to have that baby covered. That's when Pat Roberts was an attorney. They really worked on that every year. And they had 2 different policies for that. I don't know how long that baby lived, but quite a while.
I'm
Yeah,
glad that you
it's-
did bring it up about the insurance. That helps my understanding, you know, too, of the whole situation,
Yeah.
as far as the salaries.
Right. And you guys probably know from your experiences or a spouse's experience with health insurance through an employer that typically that's something that's deducted from the paycheck every pay period. So if you can imagine whatever that amount would be for whatever comparable health insurance plan, that's money that we're not taking out of a paycheck.
Are we done, basically?
Unless you guys have any other questions.
Thanks for
Anybody
coming
else
to
here?
us, so we could ask questions.
Right.
And we do
Nobody
have
out there?
both of our chiefs, Captain Detectives is here. So we do have some employees. Matt's the one that I usually have to negotiate prices with and wages, so he could convince you all of a very high increase in pay. Let me tell you, that guy is good.
Say that again, hi what?
He's a tough negotiator, I tell you.
I don't want to speak for all of us, but I think I can and tell it. Mr. Guston, thank you for what you said about wishing that you could pay the fire and police more. We appreciate that comment. Thank you.
I'm not alone.
Very much.
Right. Yep.
Anybody reading in the paper, they're busy all the time.
Very much so. They do a good job.
Well, I move we adjourn.
Have a second?
Second.
All right.
All in favor?
All right.
What's that?
Thank you.